Welcome back. Now, hosting a Christmas dinner party, whether it's for friends or family, is supposed to be fun, but it can also be a daunting affair with plenty of work needed to make sure that it goes off without a hitch.
Yes, here to negotiate the pitfalls and perils of hosting the party is expert on all things manners and class, Brenda Hyland-Byrne from the Irish School of Etiquette. Good morning to you, Brenda.
Hi, Brenda.
Good morning.
And thank you for joining us.
Well, I'm just delighted.
You're going to show us
Yes.
the right way to do it.
Well, let's start from the beginning then.
Yes.
Send out your invitation in good time, because give people a chance, you know, to sort of try and be there for that day.
Now, what is good time?
Well, it's family.
Because your
and
good
friends.
time and my good time
I know.
are probably
family
different.
and friends, probably, you know, you're going to make a call, aren't you? You're not going to be too official, but give them a week or 2 weeks. In fact, you might say, I'm going to have you for dinner on St. Stephen's Day or whatever. So you're giving them a day, and that's what it's about.
Okay.
And after that, then, it's all hell that breaks loose, because really and truly, if you're going to host a dinner party, there is a lot of work in it. You know, there really is. And, you know, are you going to serve hors d'oeuvres? Are you going to have some champagne when they come in, or Prosecco, whatever the case is? What I would always say, you know, is, you know, enlist the family.
Okay.
Yeah, I would, especially because you're going to go in the kitchen. You're going to be fiddling around with all the different things. So I would also suggest that you decide on a menu and be sure that you do not try it for the first time for that big occasion. And if you can cook as much as you can beforehand, because after all, you want to be able to sit at the table too.
Well, this is true. And Brenda, we're talking about a very formal sort of environment at the moment, but also this actually applies to a casual gathering where you're inviting a gang over for a one-pot wonder. You still don't want to be stuck in the kitchen.
No,
you still want to be prepared.
Absolutely. So that would be the key, to try and prepare as much as you can in advance.
Now, we had a great chat earlier on. Anna and myself were giggling away what the right time is to turn up. First of all, to invite guests, and then that extra 10 or 15 minutes we felt was crucial.
Yeah, I'd say definitely 15 minutes-ish after the appointed time is a good time, because, of course, when you're talking about food, you don't want the hostess to be stressed, or the host, you know, if they're trying to keep it warm or whatever.
What did you say? One curler still in the hair?
Yeah, exactly. I kind of feel like you organise the house and the food and all that.
Yes.
And then, let's say the time is 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
You leave 8 o'clock onwards is the time for you to put your mascara on or do your bits and bobs, and then people start arriving. And you just love a little window.
You need the window.
So you would say 8:15?
Definitely around 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, give the people some grace.
So when your guests arrive, in terms of, you know, digging in and helping yourself to some booze, or making sure that you don't actually give them something that's going to get them a bit sozzled.
Well, that's right.
Because they haven't eaten.
Measures.
Yeah.
And the great old aunt, if she arrives, she might be tippling away, which is the case sometimes. And you just have to keep an eye on that, because you don't really want people spoiling the party on you.
Yes.
And like, friends and families are usually very they're very kind. They're not going to be doing that. And they're casual as well.
Guests are, Brenda.
Well, this is it. The other thing is make sure everyone, especially for something like that people do know each other. There's nothing worse than having a lot of strangers, you know, for this sort of an occasion.
Let's talk about atmosphere. You've got a beautiful place setting table spread here in front of us, but in terms of atmosphere, music is important.
Yeah, setting the tone, absolutely, of the evening, and a little bit of an upbeat, friendly sort of a tone. Greeting your guests, bringing them in, hanging up their coat for them, etc., and maybe have some pre-canapes, hors d'oeuvres. And then eventually, maybe after about an hour, I would suggest coming to the table.
Okay.
Now, in terms of the table, as you can see, I've just done a very simple table here, and let's be honest, most of us were eating so much. I've just laid this for a 3-course meal, because at the end of the day, how much more can you eat? Well, that's my opinion at this moment in time.
This, by the way, looks incredibly glamorous.
Absolutely,
you know, this is the aim.
Oh, well,
that's simple.
If you start off with a charger, these are service, also known as service plates, any colour you like. They're in every high store shop, really. You can get them very reasonably all together. I've just kept my delve to white, because I think food looks best, from my perspective, on white. Then we have the lovely glassware and the stemware. So we have the water glass sits over the dinner knife. We have the white and the red wine, and of course the champagne. Here in this setting, it's just going to be soup, and I'm actually going to serve a sorbet to cleanse the palate before the main course, because sometimes it can be quite a strong taste in your mouth and you want them to enjoy that main course because you've slaved over the stove for it.
And what about the centrepiece? Because whether you're having a 5-course meal and a need for all the cutlery, or you're just having a basic sort of chicken curry with your gang of pals, it's nice to have a centrepiece.
I think it's lovely, and fresh flowers. I mean, they're just so beautiful, the roses and that. And actually, these are fantastic. I was so thrilled. I found these in a high street shop, and they were only $1.50 each.
So you don't
they're the
put
safety
these
ones.
in yourself. Okay.
Yes. So I set them in. And then we have the dessert, of course. You could move away from the table if you wanted for dessert and coffee. But I have, and don't be too hung up with matchy everything, because at the end of the day, I have that great aunt. This is the heirloom. It comes out every Christmas, those little pastry forks. Now, let me see.
And you should use them. Because they're the kind of things that sit in drawers and never get used.
Yeah. You're so right. And then any little trinkets just to bring the festive atmosphere to the place.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they're a lovely little gift actually to give people too. You know, all these little things.
Just final tips in terms of setting the table, let's say for Christmas dinner. So we're having family members that we have, we don't see from one end of the year to the other, or they're our best friends and closest family. What's the easiest and simplest way to set the table? Is it just a runner?
Well, it's all about layering, okay? So in my case here, I chose a white cloth. It's up to yourself. You could go very country. You could have check, plaid, whatever. And I put a silver runner because that's sort of my theme here today. And I think the layering
straight away.
It does
really.
The tone. And then I put a little bit. I got some crystals. Yeah, there they are, and they're lovely.
You get them in the arts and crafts or the Euro shops.
You get a little sparkle there again. And then of course the stemware and glassware is beautiful. It gives that lovely elegance. And I've also decanted a red bottle of wine, because of course red wine, it's best really to decant it ahead of the meal. Yeah, and all the sediment would. When you decant it from the bottle, at least you can leave the sediment behind, and then it's nice.
And you would always set the place setting with a water glass, a champagne flute, a red and a white wine glass.
Because of course you may be toasting during the meal, and usually the host might toast at the beginning. The other thing is, if you have a very large party, look, with family, it's so different.
Of course.
It really
case
is.
by case.
But in fairness, I would say, when do you start to eat? People often ask, like if they're looking around. So probably the rule is 6 if you've 6 people there. But really, if it's at home, whatever, you wait for the host or the hostess.
Brenda, thanks so much. It's
Not
been
at all.
lovely chatting to you this morning.
We're getting ready, aren't we? This is wonderful.
Looking forward to this dinner party.
Thanks, Brenda.
Thank you.
Brenda.
All right.
Coming up after the break, styles to take you through any occasion this festive season. See you in a few.